Hello and welcome to video 8 in this series of my Octatrack tutorials. I say tutorials, I've owned the machine for just under 5 weeks, so I'm obviously no expert, but I'm learning it carefully, slowly, and trying to pass on to you everything I learn as I learn it. So I'd like to say thank you for all the lovely comments I've received on my YouTube channel. It's very much appreciated, and also a massive thank you to those people who have made very kind donations. It's very much appreciated. So thus far I haven't done anything particularly exciting musically. Hopefully that's coming a little bit later on. All I'm trying to do at the moment is to show you how to use the machine. So I think the phrase scratching the surface doesn't really do it. I mean, it's deep, very, very deep. Like I think I said in my last video, just when I think I'm really getting to grips with this, it's a bit like the Hydra. You cut one head off and two grow in its place. So that doesn't matter because I'm enjoying learning it, and one day maybe I'll be able to say that I know how to use the machine properly. One thing I want to say before I carry on into today's video is I keep using the word pad instead of trig. So if I do say pad, rather than me putting a little error message on the screen each time, just bear with me. I mean trig. These things down here are trigs. I keep calling them pads. Please forgive me if I do. Now we are carrying on from our last video where we just recorded a really simple beat, having sampled some drums out of my OPXY. But today, much more exciting, we're going to record some musical phrases into the Octatrack using sampling. I'm going to be playing my guitar, and I found 3 ways of doing this. Now I thought this would be just a straightforward one way of doing it. Of course it's the Octatrack, so nothing's straightforward, right? So yeah, we've got 3 ways of doing this. So we're going to record a musical loop so that it plays in time with other pre-recorded tracks. In this case, our little drum beat that we put in. I'm going to be using a guitar, but of course you could use a keyboard or your voice, whatever works for you. So this is method number 1. So with this method, we're going to use the record 1 and record 2 buttons on a flex track, but we're not going to use a pickup track. If you know anything about the Octatrack, you'll know that pickup tracks are used to do live looping, and I'm going to be doing that hopefully in this video. I've got my Telecaster plugged into my Helix floor effects processor, and I've got a mono feed coming from the Helix into input A here. Although it's a mono feed, this will record in stereo. So I can hear signal in the left hand side only, because I'm only in A at the moment, but that will change in a moment. So let's look at the mixer. Right, you can see direct is up and gain is up. Normally gain isn't up, so if I put gain on 0, you don't hear much. And if I turn the direct down, you don't hear anything. So you've got to turn that up. That's just what's coming into the Octatrack. It's not the level of the recording. The level of the recording is to do with the gain, so that's full on. I'm going to back that off to about, there we go, 46. I think that will do fine. It's just a typical Telecaster sound with a bit of reverb. There's no reverb on the Octatrack, so the sound that you're hearing is what's coming out of my Helix. So we've got our guitar plugged into the Octatrack ready to record. Now we need to press function and record 1, rec 1, this one and this one. Now I think this is what you normally see when you press these 2 buttons. So in AB, change this to just A with the A encoder. In CD we're not recording anything through input C and D, so turn that off, so that's a dash. Record length maximum is fine. Trig 1 we're going to change to 1, 2. We did all this in the last video, and I'm going to turn the source 3 off so I'm not recording the output of the Octatrack. Okay, so that's record 1. So with Trig 1, 2 set, it means when you press record 1 it goes into record, and when you press record 1 again it turns off the recording. Now function and record 2, rec 2, right, fin and fout, it's fade in and fade out. Set these to the tiniest amount you can, which is 0.063, and apparently this stops any clicks and pops you might get. Now AB you don't need this when you're doing this kind of recording. You only need this when you're doing live looping, so we will be using that later on. Q record I'm going to set to P length and Q playback P length. Let me try and explain that bit. The quantized record, Q record, this puts the Octatrack into record every time the end of the pattern is reached. Now, if your project is empty at this point, you need to set the metronome. I started this project in video 7 and it's just this very simple kick drum, snare drum and hi-hat, and that's what we're going to record along with. So obviously as a musician, as a guitarist, you want to be able to play along with something. I mean, you can record any instrument straight into this without any backing, without any metronome, but it's a bit pointless really. So I'm using my track that I recorded, if you like, as my metronome, so I don't need the metronome on. I should have said that I'm using track 4 and I've set it to a flex track. Double tap it and it's going to use recording buffer 4, so that's fine. So when I press play and the machine starts, I've got how many bars in this? I've got just 1 bar. I think I'll set that to 4 bars. Okay, so that's done. I think what I'll do is I'll press play, then I'll press rec 1. At the end of the 4 bars you should see a plus sign come up here to show that we're recording, and I'll record for 4 bars and then I will press the record 1 button again to stop the recording. So let's do that. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. Here we go. Now I had a trig there, that's why that came back in. The reason it started looping again was I didn't realise I had a trig on bar 3. I've taken that off now. So that's alright, that's in. It's in recording buffer 4. So there's our sample. If I just bring that up a bit with the D encoder, whole function yes. Here's the whole sample that I've just recorded. That's fine, just turn that off. If I press function and page, you can see I've got the master set to 64 because I've got a 4-bar pattern, so I've set the master to 64 as well. So we're hearing all 4 bars. I'll show you in a while that we can actually record for more than 4 bars. Now you've now got a loop which you can save and use on any Flex Machine tracks, and bear in mind, even if you save the project, once you switch the machine off, you've lost that recording, so you need to save that as a sample. We'll do that again and I'll make it even longer. What I'll do is I'll go into function and page and I will set the master to 128. Going to move round to that. There we go. 128, so it's going to play for 8 bars. Now to hear 8 bars, here's a little trick for you. Now it says 1 times. If I change that to a half, now it will play at half speed. You won't hear it playing at half speed, but it means we'll get 8 bars when we normally would get 4. Okay, so we're going to re-record. This time we're going to play an 8-bar pattern. See, it's going really slowly here. So this is only bar 2 according to this now. It's going to be 8 bars, you see. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we've got our 8 bars. Let's put a trig on the beginning of bar 1 and hopefully it should play all 8 bars. Now see what happens when it loops. It was okay. What I tend to do is I go into the audio editor, go to attributes, which is FX1, come down and I turn the loop off and I turn the time stretch off. It doesn't appear to make that much difference. If there is a bit of a glitch as it goes back in, after in this case the 8 bars, then turning the loop mode off can help. But that's pretty good, isn't it? So that was one track recorded successfully, and that's one way of recording a pattern, in this case on my guitar, to one track. You could do the same on a different track. Let's look at a different method now of doing this. Now in this second method I'm going to record straight into a track, but I'm going to use what we call record and playback trigs, and there's two ways of doing this. So let's call this the A method. Press function and bank, function and bank. I'm going to see my bar numbers come up. So 1, 2, third bar. Now you can see pressing function and bank, the trigs, this is the playback trigs row is lit up. So I'm going to put a playback trig there, that's beat 1 of bar 3. Now I'm going to use the down arrow to come to the record trigs. There's already one there. Let's just take that off for a moment and show you that. So I'm going to press function and number 1, that's turned yellow. Now that's one way of doing it. I'm going to do the other way first, which is just a straightforward record trig. So turn that off. Now what's going to happen now is when the Octatrack reaches this point, beat 1 bar 3, it's going to go into record. I can record something, and as long as I get rid of that record trig before it comes around again, you'll hear what I played. And I don't need to press record 1, all I've got to do is press play. So make sure I'm back at the beginning. Here we go then. So it should kick in recording on bar 3. Here we go. Get rid of that recording and should hear it this time. That's it. Now if I hadn't have got rid of that record trig, it would have recorded again. So here it comes around again. Okay, that's fine, but obviously it's a bit awkward having to turn that record trig off. You may not get there in time. There's a better way of doing it, and that is to make a one-shot recording trig. So let's go to that bar. Here we are. I've already turned it off. I'm going to hold function and that trig, and you can see I've got a yellow light up on that. This time I won't have to turn off that trig. I can keep letting it run. So back to the beginning. Just check, there it is, see? So bar 1. 2, 2, 3, 4. So we'll wait for it to come around again. You should hear it on the third bar. So first bar, second bar, here we go. 3, 4. See, I didn't have to turn off the trig, you see? And you'll hear it each time it comes round. Here we go again. So that's another way to record in time with the Octatrack, with your track. Obviously if you didn't have any kick drum or snare drum recorded, you just use your metronome. So probably the one shot trig is a good idea, so that way you don't have to keep turning the trig off before it comes around again. Just a reminder, if you turn the machine off, this is in a recording buffer, this recording, so obviously you'll lose that unless you turn that into a proper sample. I'm not going to bother because it's not anything I particularly want to keep. Maybe we'll do that with our next method. And if you get problems with any of this, as I did yesterday, there's a good way of sorting things out. Make sure the record light's on, hit function and clear, and that clears the recording track, gets rid of all the triggers. And you might want to go up there and do it as well. See, there's one there, function clear, see, and that's gone. So if you're getting unwanted triggers, sometimes things start happening. You think, what the heck is happening here? And that's what is happening. You've got trigs on tracks that you've forgotten about. It's a little bit confusing, like pretty much everything on this machine, but ultimately very rewarding. So we've shown you the A and B methods in that one method. It's a kind of 2 for 1. This is probably the most exciting way to get music into the Octatrack, and that is live looping. I need to say thank you to Matthew, EasyBot as he likes to be called. I learned a lot from him about this machine. I'm still learning loads from him. He's way more advanced than I am, long way down, many years ahead, but I'm learning quite a lot from watching his videos and other people's as well. But I learnt this live looping from his little video, so shout out to him. Thank you, Matthew, for that. Right, so track 4 at the moment is a flex track. I'm going to turn that into a pickup machine. I say flex track, it's a track with a flex machine on, to be really accurate. So double tap, come to the left arrow, come down to pickup, yes, no, now it says P for pickup on track 4. Still got my guitar plugged in. Let's just check our function and record. That's all the same. That's all the same, that's good. A, B has got to be turned up full this time. This is something peculiar to the pickup machine. I don't need the metronome, make sure that's off. That's off, that's good. Because my track is my metronome, if you like. This time I'm going to press AED, the audio editor, and you see you kind of get this blank screen, and you'll see the sample coming up as I start to record. Now I can just set the thing going. So 4 bars to wait before it comes in, because it sets to 64. So I'll do some rhythm first of all, fairly low volume. Go to Rec 2 to play that back. No, Rec 1 again to overdub. That's Rec 2 to play back. Rec 1 to overdub. 2, 3, 4. Rec 2 to play back. So we've got 3 tracks there. Press stop. Now, however many bars you play first time round will set the length of the whole recording. You don't have to change the bar length to 64. Make sure you've got dynamic recorders turned on, otherwise you might be limited on the amount of bars you can do. So like I say, press Rec 2 to play your loop back, press Rec 1 to overdub. You can press stop any time, but if you want to resume the playback, don't press Rec 1, otherwise you'll lose your recording. So I want to listen to this again. I'm going to press Rec 2. Now notice I haven't got any track. Now it's all in time because I set that quantized playback to the pattern length. So if I set the pattern going, then press Rec 2 to play back, it will start at the end of the pattern. Hopefully here, 2, 3, 4. So that's all nicely in time. It's great, isn't it? So when it all works, it's absolutely wonderful. If it doesn't, sometimes it can be a bit frustrating, but hopefully you won't see that in my videos. I saved that for my tryouts the day before. Obviously you can't separate those overdubs. That's all locked together as one track, so you can't go back or anything. But it is, you know, a great way to do live looping. And obviously you could use your voice, or you could use a keyboard, or a mixture of all three. It's no problem. Guitar, vocal, whatever you want to do is fine. Now if you go to record 3, it says erase yes or no, and if you say yes, you lost the lot. So I'll say no, I don't want to erase it. Now here's the important bit. Once you're happy with your recording, you can save it, and you must save it as a flex slot in the usual way, because if you don't, you'll have lost it. So I'm going to go to Effects 2, which is the File menu. I'm going to come down to Save and Assign Sample. Yes. Right, I'm going to give it a meaningful name. I'll do this quickly. I'll speed the video up. Three guitars, save sample as 3 guitars, yes. Now, we're not finished because it says assign to self. If you do that, it just puts it straight back in that play buffer, I think. So I want to assign to free flex, come down, say yes. And now, just press AD, it goes off. If we go to track 5, for instance, try that one, double tap that, come down to, there we go, 3 guitars. Now if I say yes, now it's saying 3 guitars, all I've got to do on that track 5 is to put a trig on the beginning there, and it should play that sample. 3, 4, and all is well. So I've been able to show you today 3 ways of recording, in my case a guitar in time with the Octatrack into the Octatrack, so you can have it playing along with anything you've pre-recorded. In my case it was just a kick drum, snare drum and hi-hat. I'm still learning this thing, I'm still making loads of mistakes. I'm sure if you're an experienced user you're watching this and probably cringing a bit, and you've probably been through all the same things I'm going through. But anyway, I hope you found that interesting. If you did, please give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel. If you're feeling generous, you might consider giving me a small donation either on YouTube or on my website, which is www.daddylonglegs.com. Loads of interesting musical stuff on there for you to look at. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and you'll see me in my next video.